Obamacare was supposed to be off limits to illegal immigrants, but not for long if one House Democrat gets his way. Watch.
It allows you to go into the exchange with your money and if you qualify for the subsidies, you have to pay taxes. You have to be registered with the government, but it allows you, whether or not, regardless of your immigration status, you should have health care.
Democrat Luis Gutierrez of Chicago. What he's not telling you, many of the Obamacare exchanges are facing massive shortfalls as of today. This is leading some to speculate this is an illegal plot to bail out Obamacare. Is it? Joining us now, Republican political strategist Evan Siegfried and Democratic pollster Jessica Tarloff, senior political strategist at Schoen Consulting. Welcome to you both.
Morning.
Jessica, I'm old enough to remember the debate over Obamacare. Democrats assured us again and again and again.
Even I'm old enough to remember that.
It was pretty recently. But they told us again and again and again in unequivocal terms this will never apply to illegal aliens.
And it hasn't.
But they didn't mean it. They want it to. These are their voters, and they want to bring them into the system.
These are their voters. The illegals are their voters.
They would like to see them become citizens, and this is the first
well,
step.
A majority of Americans would like to see them become citizens. 70% of them. It is absolutely true. That's what.
But to Obamacare, they said this would never apply to illegals, and here's Gutierrez saying, let's apply it to illegals.
Absolutely, and they're going to pay into the system. This is also a population that majority of them are going to be between the 18 and 34-year-old demographic, which is exactly who we want to be buying into Obamacare. It's going to help the program. We're going to give people health care, which should be a goal for everybody. They're also going to be adding money into our system, which is a great thing. I actually don't see how we lose here. These 11 million people are not going to be leaving the country. We know it's going to cost $400 to $600 billion, I'm sorry, to deport them. So they're here. Why shouldn't they have health care and be contributing to our... okay.
What world is this? Is there another
It's my
country
world.
where you could show up illegally, breaking the laws of that country by definition, and somehow get entitled to taxpayer subsidies?
I am unaware of one. You know, if the real problem here isn't that. It's that the government is now relying on 11 million illegal immigrants to bail them out for a problem that they never really figured out in their policy. So, I mean, let's think of it this way. What happens with Social Security? Do we start opening it up to people in France and the United Kingdom when that goes bust?
Are you kidding? These people live in the country. France and the United Kingdom, I mean, we're talking about people who are living here, who are contributing to
yes, but they are still not legal citizens. Therefore, I don't think we should be
They are not right now legal citizens. But to deny people health care when they're going to be paying for it, we're not talking about a freebie. We also know that there's, this very destructive narrative out there that illegal immigrants do not contribute to the economy. But we also know that in 2012, 8.1 million, immigrants contributed $11.8 billion in state and local taxes.
But what were the costs? Well, hold on. That's one side of the equation. What were the what percentage of immigrants to this country are on welfare? Over 50%. So are you willing to defend that? Is that a number you're going to ignore?
I'm not
are
going to
they
ignore
a
it.
net plus for the country or a net drain? I mean, if you want to do the math on it, what are the costs to public schools, to infrastructure, to the emergency rooms they use for health care? You don't factor those in.
So take out the cost that they use the emergency rooms for health care and let them buy health care.
Right.
That's one of the major entitlement costs that people always harp on about. So let them have good health care and let them be citizens, actually.
So well, of course, that would be a great boon for the Democratic Party. So let's take a look at part of the jobs report that came out yesterday. Was a shock to Wall Street. It was bad for most people. As of yesterday, in the last jobs reporting period, 262,000 native-born Americans were not working who would have been otherwise working. That was the number for Americans. For immigrants, plus 14,000 jobs. In other words, all the job growth, and this is true over the last 5 years, has gone to immigrants. Why is this good for native-born Americans?
Well, it's not good for native-born Americans. That jobs report really isn't good for anybody, let's be honest. But the real problem is foreign-born immigrants who are legal and are getting these jobs have mostly come from countries with better education standards than the United States. The United States ranks 14th now in the world for education, right behind Russia, whereas you have South Korea, Hong Kong, Finland in the top 5.
So really quickly, fewer Americans working now than at any time in the last 30 years. Look into the camera and tell them why we need to import more labor. When there are fewer Americans working as a percentage of population, anytime in 30 years, why do we need to import more people when so many of our own people don't have jobs?
I'm not going to, as Evan said, this was not a good jobs report for anyone, but we have seen 13.1 million jobs added under the Obama economy, 8 million in the last 3 years. We haven't seen growth like that since Bill Clinton was president. We're going to skip the entire, boy, what? You know,
there are fewer people working than in 30 years.
Absolutely. I know the labor force participation rate is terrible. I understand. I know the real unemployment rate is far above 5.1%. But I would also add that the jobs that we are adding are lower paying jobs. And the fact that foreign-borns are getting those, I don't know if I necessarily buy your argument that these are the higher educated people.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you both so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
We were awake for this early.